It was a sunny Saturday morning when I rolled my trusty, slightly dented hatchback into the cul-de-sac of Grandpa Henry's neighborhood, Willow Creek Meadows. The place screamed forced calm, think perfectly trimmed hedges and mailboxes, so uniform they could have been government issued. I'd escaped the chaos of Capitol Hill, where I spend my days wrestling with legislative jargon, to spend a quiet weekend with my favorite 80-something. Coffee, maybe fixing his ancient desktop, and definitely no drama. Or so I thought. I stepped out, overnight bag slung over my shoulder, and froze. Lisa Nguyen, the contractor we'd hired, stood on Grandpa's porch, clutching a neon orange paper that looked like it could burn retinas. Her face screamed betrayal, like she'd just been handed an EVY tie-in notice herself. Through the window, I saw Grandpa Henry at his kitchen table, spine rigid, fingers hammering his tablet with a fury I knew meant trouble. "Lisa, what's going on?" I called, jogging up. "Problem with the alarm install?" We were setting up VY Sewell fire alarm strobes tied to smoke detectors for Grandpa, who'd lost most of his hearing years ago, courtesy of Navy engine rooms. Lisa thrust the orange paper at me. "Problem, Jake?" "This woman, Deborah Walsh, your grandpa's HOA dictator, slapped this on the door an hour ago. Says we stop work saw. Fire code violations. Evict chon trets." Her voice trembled with rage. My stomach churned. "Sao evict sao?" Over safety equipment? The paper felt flimsy, but its words hit like a sledgehammer. Notice of immediate cease and desist, and pending EVY tie-in hearing. It listed violations of Willow Creek Fire Safety Code, Addendum 3, Sections 2A, 5B, 8C. Unauthorized electrical work. Improper signaling de vice. Blocked egress pathway. Fix it in 48 hours or face the boot. What the hell? I muttered, scanning the gibberish. It read like a bad legal fanfic. Since when did an HOA have its own fire code? I pushed open the door, hit by the familiar scent of Grandpa's burnt coffee and old paperbacks, now sour with tension. He looked up, eyes sharp, lips tight. "Hey, Grandpa," I said, keeping my voice steady, signing as I spoke. "What's Deborah up to now?" He sighed, a gust of exasperation, and slid his tablet over. His typed words were blunt. "Saw Deborah came by, ranting about Lisa's work. Says the strobe alarms are fire hazards. Says my train set blocks an exit. Says my VY bratting alarm clock is a risk. 48 hours to rip it all out, or they EVY CT me Monday." "Sao?" I read it twice, my jaw tightening. Strobe alarms designed for the deaf were saw fire hazard saw, a VY bratting clock, a saw risk saw, and the train set. I signed. "Train set? Really?" He nodded, typing fast. "Saw says it blocks the hobby room exit in a fire." Saw the hobby room was a tiny bedroom with a 4x8 plywood table holding his HO scale Chesapeake, Ohio layout, a project we'd built together when I was a kid. It sat against the wall, Leah VYing plenty of space, with 2 windows for escape. "Sao bulok Edgar." Saw that's for cluttered hallways, not a spare room. The accusations weren't just wrong, they were VY sias. Then, a shadow crossed the porch. Deborah Walsh, HOA president, clipboard in hand, strutted across the lawn like she owned the place. Her voice cut through the air, cold and smug. "Jacob, I see you got the notice. I trust Henry will comply immediately." Years of NAVY gating DC's political minefields kicked in. I forced a smile. "Good morning, Deborah. There's some confusion here. Let's start with Section 2, unauthorized electrical work. Lisa submitted plans for the alarms to your committee 2 weeks ago. You confirmed receipt." Deborah sniffed. "Receipt isn't approval, Jacob. Electrical changes need explicit consent, which you don't have. And those flashing lights? Hazardous. They violate Section 5, disruptive lighting." I nearly laughed. Hazardous? These are UL-listed, NFPA 72 compliant alarms for a deaf resident. And disruptive lighting? That's about Christmas lights, not safety equipment. Her eyes narrowed. Section 5B covers any lighting disrupting community harmony. And Section 8 sire grandfather's train set blocks egress. That room's a bedroom per county records. Flammable glues, Add fire risk. It's a hobby room, I shot back, voice rising. The train's 3 feet from a window. The flammable glues a half-ounce bottle. This is absurd. Rules are rules, she said ice cold. Comply in 48 hours, or the EVY tie-in hearing proceeds Monday. She spun and marched off, Leah VYing fury in her wake. Lisa stared, stunned. EVY tie-in over trains and alarms? She's not serious, right? She's dangerous, I said grimly. Grandpa typed. Saw she's mad I fought her fountain fee. She hates pushback. Saw, of course. This wasn't about code, it was personal. New plan, I said. Lisa, stay put. Grandpa, grabbed the HOA binder. Let's fight fire with fire. We huddled at the table. Lisa spread her schematics, pro-VY-ing the alarm's compliance. Grandpa produced the binder, revealing a shady Addendum 3, signed only by Deborah. I fired up my laptop, pulling up the International Fire Code, NFPA 72, and the Fair Housing Act. Here, I said, pointing. NFPA 72, Chapter 18 VY, Sewell Alarms. These strobes meet every spec. Addendum 3's disruptive lighting isn't in the official bylaws. And egress? IRC Section R311 covers hallways, not hobby rooms. That train's no issue. Lisa exhaled. So it's all fake? A house of cards, I said. She's betting we won't check. Grandpa typed. Saw ignore her? Sal. No, I said. We hit back hard. Then, red and blue lights flashed outside. Deborah had called the cops. 2 officers approached Officer Daniels, grizzled and tired, and Officer Cruz, younger, sharper. Got a call about unpermitted work, Daniels said. Before I could speak, Deborah swooped in, while VYing her notice. Officers, this contractor's doing illegal electrical work. The residents ignoring our cease and desist. I took a breath. Officers, I'm Jake Larson. This is my grandfather Henry's home. Deborah is trying to stop ADA-compliant fire alarms for a deaf resident. Her violations are baseless, contradicting national codes. I work with these regulations daily. Daniel scanned the notice, unimpressed. Your side, sir. These alarms are NFPA 72 compliant, enhancing safety, I said. The blocked egress is a model train in a spare room. Her addendums, a fabrication. Want to see the codes? They exchanged glances, clearly out of their depth. Daniel sighed. This is beyond us. Hold off work for now. Get the fire marshal involved. Deborah fumed, but couldn't argue. As the cops left, I called my chief of staff, Sarah. Need Fairfax County's IFC adoption status and our HR 3452 report on senior safety. Can you dig it up? On it, Sarah said. Beer's on you. Saturday and Sunday were a blur of strategy. I drafted a letter to the HOA board, bypassing Deborah, citing the police VY sit and our fire marshal plan. Lisa found online gripes about Deborah's tyranny-finding mailboxes, measuring grass. Sarah emailed. Fairfax adopted IFC 2021, and HR 3452's language was gold. Monday, Fire Marshal Thompson arrived, crisp and no nonsense. Deborah trailed him, clipboard shaking, with one nervous board member, Ellen. Inside, Thompson cut to the chase. Miss Walsh, outline your concerns. Deborah faltered. Unauthorized electrical work. Disruptive strobes. Blocked egress with flammable materials. I stepped up. Marshal, these are NFPA 72 compliant alarms from my deaf grandfather, installed by a licensed contractor. They meet NEC and ADA standards. The blocked egress is a train set, clear of exits. Addendum 3 contradicts county codes. Thompson inspected the hobby room, eyeing the train and windows. He turned to Deborah, voice steel. These alarms are compliant. The train's no obstruction. Your addendum's unenforceable, potentially discriminatory. Deborah stammered, but Thompson shut her down. HOA rules don't override federal law. Consult your lawyer. Miss Nguyen finished the install. He nodded to us and left. Deborah stood, pale, defeated. Ellen boblet på leur knees. We didn't know about Addendum 3. This isn't the board's stance. Deborah hissed, "This isn't over, Jake," and fled. Relief flooded the room. Lisa grinned, finishing the install. The strobes flashed. Perfect. Grandpa offered cookies. Typing. Saw you crushed her with the rulebook. Sal. Weeks later, back in D.C., Grandpa emailed. Deborah was censured, ousted as president. Addendum 3 was scrapped, and the board apologized. They trained with Thompson's office on real codes. Grandpa's trains hummed, his alarms flashed, and Deborah learned her lesson. Sometimes, knowing the rules isn't just a job, it's a weapon. Taking down a tyrant, like Deborah? Damn satisfying. So what do you think? Was Deborah just power-hungry, or was there something darker at play? Should HOAs have this much control? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more real-life showdowns. Sal.